I would like to talk about self-compassion. This is something that I'm super, super passionate about because for the past 2 years, after coaching a few dozens of clients, and I have noticed that every single one of them is very self-critical. And I used to be like that too. High achievers like us tend to be very self-critical. How come? It is because most of us, we grew up in a very critical environment. Most likely in family, parents are very accomplishment oriented, and a lot of times is that we're not being appreciated or valued for who we are, but what we do. And then school obviously is also a very competitive, very critical environment. And then corporate America, and at least the companies that I worked for in the past, are very competitive. This performance evaluation, and it is very just always feel not being just always feel being judged by others, not necessarily feel very supported. So then it's normal for us to develop this internalize this external voice, and then this it is really a protection and survival mechanisms for us to really survive and thrive in that kind of competitive environment. And however, and at a certain point of my life, and I realized that's not serving me anymore. I remember even just a couple of years ago when I was at work, when I make a mistake, not even a mistake, sometimes I did fairly well, but in my mind I didn't. And in my mind I didn't do well, I didn't do as well in a high stake meeting. Then I would ruminate that thing for hours, if not days. And at the end of that, I just felt so emotionally drained. And now looking back, I realized what a waste of energy, right? What was it helpful? Because I couldn't change what happened. And also a lot of times this is really cognitive distortion. And it is that I saw the situation as worse as it actually was. And it just wasted so much time and energy on something that I couldn't change, and then it really wouldn't help me in the future anyways. So until I would say 2 years ago, I learned this tool. I wouldn't call it a concept because it is a practice called self-compassion. And this self-compassion is not an intellectual exercise. It is actually a daily practice, almost like going to the gym and exercise this self-compassion muscle, because so many of us never developed this muscle. And we always thought that being harsh, being tough and hard on ourselves, and that was the only way for us to achieve and accomplish things. Actually, it's opposite. Because ever since I developed this self-compassion muscle, and I felt so much lighter, so much freer, which now I feel I have way more energy to really focus on the things I wanted to achieve. So you may wonder, what is self-compassion and how does it work? Self-compassion probably sounds like a very foreign concept to many of us. It is something that is, it is being studied and popularized in recent years, especially by Kristin Neff, Dr. Kristin Neff. Look it up. And then she did a TED Talk, and also she has a book. and that really changed my life. A lot of things I learned is from her. So there are 3 key components of having self-compassion. The first component is called mindfulness. So mindfulness meaning that catch yourself when you talk to yourself in a very harsh way, and when you have that strong inner critic voice, and when you ruminate on a past mistake or situation that you couldn't change anymore. And that is huge. That is huge. So you may have heard Viktor Frankl and The Man's Search for Meaning. He wrote a book, and he said that between the stimulus and response, there's space. Within that space, that we can choose our response. And in that space, that's where we can find the freedom. So it's the same thing with self-compassion. It is that notice when you have that voice, when you start catch yourself doing that, then take a pause. And take a pause and then do the next couple of things. Then the second thing we do, it is called common humanity. It is really about normalize this human experience, because every single one of us makes mistakes. No matter what kind of mistakes we make, big, small, and you are not the only one. You are not unique or special. And we all experience various different versions of the same mistakes, because that's called human conditioning and human experience. So that you don't feel alone in that situation, and then you don't feel shamed about yourself when you make those mistakes in those situations. And then the third, then it's called kindness. Kindness is being kind to yourself. I think the best way to describe that it is to imagine if a very good friend of yours were in that exact same situation. What would you say to your friend? So would you say something like, "You're so stupid. How could you do something like that?" You would never, right? Because if you say something like that to your supposedly good friend, guess what? That person probably would not be your friend anymore, right? So you probably say something more along the lines of, "I'm sorry that happened, and it is normal to make mistakes like that, and learn the lesson from it, and then we move on, and everything will be fine. I'm here to support you, and you are amazing regardless," right? So that is be kind to yourself, and remember to talk to yourself as your best friend. With those 3 steps, mindfulness, common humanity, and then be kind to yourself. Then practice it on a daily basis, and then with matter of time, you will feel the difference. Then, as I mentioned earlier, you will feel that you feel so much lighter, you feel so much freer. Then that really free up your mental energy to really focus on what the lesson learned and what you can take it moving forward, right? So there's no need for you to focus on the past and ruminate on the past, and it's all about stay present, focus on what you're doing now and what you're going to do moving forward. Okay, that's it for today, self-compassion. Hope you find it helpful, and I challenge you to practice it on a daily basis, and please let me know how it goes. I'm really looking forward to hearing about your transformative experiences. So, see you next time. Take care.